program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
CDF has taken me through from my earlier Form 1 to the last bit of Form 4.
So generally, the fund was my savior, as you can see, because we could not be able to afford the fees.
Nikatembelea ofisi zetu za CDF na wakanikubali na wakanichukua nikasomea bura kuanzia Form 1 to Form 4.
After nimevisit CDF wakakubali kunipeleka shule, wakanilipia school fees yote for 3 years, and thanks to them I'm now a well-trained nutritionist waiting for my graduation yenye itakuwa 1st December.
As such, bursaries have been a huge component of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund. At the moment, it is taking not more than 35% of the money allocated to constituencies every year. These beneficiaries attest to what decentralized and targeted funds can do. Regina Tumbo today works as an administrator. She also supports the sales team here. She is focused and determined to make life better. The NG-CDF bursary has turned her life around.
I'm admin and service support in Delta Energy. I'm aspiring to become an administration or an operation manager in one of the biggest firms in this country. So I believe where I am right now, it's a stepping stone for me, and CDF has done a big portion to raise me up.
A bright student during her early school years, Regina enrolled in her local primary school and sat for her Class 8 exams. She passed, but could not join Form 1. Reason? Lack of school fees. Her parents told her to repeat for 2 years, go back to Class 7, as they bought time to raise school fees. They did not. They could still not raise the fees, even after Regina was admitted to her favorite pick, Bura Girls School. Regina watched as other students joined Form 1 as she remained at home due to lack of fees. It was only due to the NG-CDF's intervention that Regina joined a local secondary school in the 2nd term. She had, however, lost a chance to join Bura Girls, but she was just grateful.
Here I am. You can't say it is all lost, because at least you have gotten the chance to go to the school, because some people couldn't at all couldn't get that chance to go to a secondary school. So my aim here was to prove to people that as much as I didn't go to the Bura High School, I was now comparing myself with the student at Bura Girls, and I was like, oh, so I can still do it in this local school.
Regina passed her Form 4 exams and was admitted to Moi University. Yet again, her family could not afford the fees for her university education. She traveled to Nairobi for greener pastures, housed by her aunt. She looked for a job and enrolled in an administration course at a college. And she did her diploma as she continued working. Years later, she enrolled in a degree course, and NG-CDF still came in to support her dream for a brighter future.
CDF came in through for me during 2020, 2021, and even now as I'm going to complete my undergraduate education.
Regina is a case study of NG-CDF's interventions and how it has made dreams come true through the bursary scheme. Beneficiaries say they could not have been as successful as they are today without NG-CDF. The story of Regina is replicated in many other areas. On average, The NG-CDF distributes 10 billion shillings every year to learners in different institutions, including secondary schools, technical colleges, universities, and special schools as bursaries. As a result, students with a slim chance of finishing their studies can now afford a smile. Hesbon Onsongo Ombasa, a lawyer working in Parkland's area of Nairobi, Onsongo says he had at one time given up on life. This was after he dropped out of Kenyatta University, where he was pursuing a degree in agriculture due to lack of fees. His mother, a former casual laborer who picked tea at James Finlay's in Kericho, could not help either. He was depressed. His rescue came in when he was offered a full scholarship to study law at Mount Kenya University. NG-CDF paid fully for his law degree course.
My fees from first year, that is, to fourth year, was fully covered. And the fund, CDF, I finished, I graduated this year, August.
Onsongo is now working for a law firm in Nairobi as he waits to join the Kenya School of Law to become an advocate. The future is bright.
The next 10 years I'll be one of the renowned lawyers around, young lawyers, that is, and advocate. I think I'll be in a limelight somewhere.
Eyo sana. Habari? Wamepeana orders, ama?
Jared Ayenda, also a lawyer, appreciates NG-CDF bursary scheme. Born and raised in Kisii County, he passed his primary school exams and was enrolled at Kisii High School. NG-CDF paid for his secondary education by providing a partial scholarship. He did his Form 4 exams, passed, enrolled to study law, failed to meet fees obligations, and was suspended. NG-CDF bursary came to his rescue and paid varsity education, and also paid his fees at the Kenya School of Law.
Aliweza kunishikilia na akanipatia scholarship kutumia NG-CDF. Akanilipia mwaka wangu wa 3, mwaka wangu wa 4 na NG-CDF, hadi nilipojiunga na shule ya sheria ya Kenya School of Law. Hakika mimi nimesoma na NG-CDF. Kama kuna bursary ambayo imesaidia sana kule kitongojini ama kule kijijini, ni bursary ya NG-CDF.
The vetting process in administering bursaries ensures that there is level playing ground for everyone.
Ukiapply, hawakujui, hawajui mzazi wako, lakini unapata umelipiwa karo.
NG-CDF calls for applications through the local administration. After this process, a standard form is filled and then the needy applicants are identified. The final process is done through consultations with local leaders like chiefs, religious leaders, community representatives, and teachers who know the applicants to ensure only the needy benefit.
A needy student is a needy student, whether you're at this level or you're at the other level. We still have to interview you. We still have to know, even the people we use, the bursary committee, the pastors, the people from that area who know you. Do they know you as a needy person? So have you met the criteria for being needy? Then from there, then we can issue the checks to the higher institutions, whether it's a university, whether it's a college.
For Brian Kenyani, he had wholly given up hope of ever joining secondary school. When he sat for his Class 8 national exams, he knew he could not afford school fees to join secondary school. So he resigned to a life of misery in his rural home. A few years later, his friend visited and invited him to Nairobi in what he thought would be a game changer. He expected to get some employment, but that was not forthcoming since he needed secondary education to get one. Life was hard, sleeping without food and almost kicked out by the landlord due to lack of rent. Today, Brian works as a bartender as he waits to join college. He pays school fees for his younger sister. To him, the NG-CDF bursary broke the cycle of poverty in his home.
Kama CCDF singekuwa mahali niko, juu ilinipea platform, ilinionyesha naweza endelea na masomo. So kama wangeniachilia hivyo wasema wawezi nisaidia, singefika mahali nimefika. It's good walinichukua na wakanionyesha Brian bado naweza endelea na masomo. Yes, tutakusaidia mpaka mahali utafika. So mahali waliniachia sikufail. Knowledge yao bado ndo natumia. Mpaka imenifikisha mahali niko sahi, juu kama wangenitoa hapo ground, foundation yao ndo imenifikisha mpaka mahali niko. Foundation yao ndio inafanya access yangu kwa shule.
Bahati Juma has a similar story. She had no hope of ever joining a secondary school or university as an orphan. She got an NG-CDF scholarship, finished her education, and is now working as a marketer. She is forever grateful that this happened.
Kama CDF isinge come through, maybe say ningekuwa nimeoleka kitambo sana. Manake sikuwa naona mwangaza yote kwa sababu kwa familia yangu I'm the only person mwenye ambao nimeenda paka high school to campus. So hao wengine wote hawakuwa na uwezo wa kunisaidia.
In Kivoti location of Runyenjes in Kirinyaga, we caught up with Dennis Mutembei, who just sat for his Form 4 exams. He passed his exams and is waiting to join university and study statistics. Dennis cannot afford school fees since his parents are casual laborers, but he's been studying on an NG-CDF scholarship which has seen him through the 4 years he was in secondary school.
I'm one of the beneficiaries of CDF fund, na ndio ilinisaidia kusoma kuanzia kidato cha kwanza mpaka kidato cha 4, ikanifikisha hapa, na ndio bado nategemea inisaidie kusoma campus. Niliweza kupata grade ya B+ mwaka huu katika mtihani wa KCSE, na sasa nangojea, ndio nategemea inipeleke campus, inilipie fees.
Slums are home to more than 1 million people in Kenya. Here, people live on meager resources and 1 meal a day. We met Wanja, a 35-year-old single mother of 4, at her dwelling in the Marigoine slums of Nairobi. Wanja was lucky to get a 6-month scholarship to learn pastry and catering through Starehe constituency NG-CDF program. She has been having a job, though her employer recently relocated.
Tukakuja tukapata scholarship. Hii scholarship ilikuwa plumbing, hairdressing, beauty, na bake and pastry. So mimi nikachukua bake and pastry, ilikuwa choice ya mtu yenye anataka, juu ilikuwa chance ya watu wengi. Sema kwa hiyo bake and pastry ilinisaidia sana. Ofiti imechange life yangu hadi sasa kwenye niko hapa. Juu nilikujanga after hiyo course, nilikujanga nikapata job ya bakery, ilikuwa inajiita cakes. Nimefanya hapo hivyo, sijakosa kufanya mwaka na.
NG-CDF has been a beacon of hope to Wanja and others in the slums. Their children and siblings who attend secondary schools in the neighboring schools are on scholarship. Wanja's daughter attends school at Nairobi South Secondary School, a new school entirely constructed by NG-CDF. She is also on NG-CDF's bursary scheme.
Bursary kama mimi mzazi wa hiyo shule inatusaidia. Na inatusaidiaje? Sasa wakinitolea 3,000. Ndio. Ndaenda niambie ndio cha ni kweli. Hii imekuja. Shikilia kwa muda, hii ingine wewe mwenyewe kama mzazi utajita mkutano. Unaona yenyewe pale unadaiwa. So lazima ujikakamu. Hata kama utapeleka 200 kwa siku, but ionekane kuna kitu unapeleka. Ofisi mimi kwangu inanisaidia.
Elkanah Moranda says his 3 children have greatly benefited.
Na ndiposa nijue mambo ya bursary, nilikuwa nimeenda kwa chief kutafuta usaidizi bila nitapata hawa watoto wasome, ndio akanituma ofisi hapo ya Takoreti. Sasa nimepata bursary tukilipa akiwa nyumbani mpaka wakati miaka imeenda, alipotoka MP JK akaingia akapata huyu na sasa amekuja hapa ameanza college. Ndiye ameshikilia mpaka alipomaliza nao wengine wakifuata hizi pasa huwa wananisaidia watoto wote wanaenda shule.
This is Sarah Muthoni. She sells sweets and biscuits at Landmawe, another slum in Starehe constituency of Nairobi. Her son, Fidel Mushui, is in school sitting for his final secondary exams. Muthoni praises NG-CDF for giving her family a new lease of life by paying school fees for his son.
CDF imenisomesea mtoto, so nimebenefit juu hakuna siku mtoto wangu amekuwa na stress ya school fee. Ako so comfortable. Aliniambia kazi yangu ni kusoma, niliapa nitasoma na kazi yangu ni kusoma.
A mother of 3, her business provides enough to feed her family and pay for her rent, which is 2,000 shillings per month. She accumulates the money for rent by saving 100 shillings every day through a saving scheme unique to residents of Fuata Nyayo, where they save every day to accumulate money for rent at the end of the month. With no other income, Muthoni's son could not have joined Form 1. But Starehe constituency had an elaborate scheme designed for slum dwellers, paying fees for every student who gets admitted to Form 1 and cannot afford.
Nilienda kwa ofisi nikapewa check. Nikapewa check ya ilikuwa 45,000. 45,000. Fidel alienda nayo shule na akaenda akachukuliwa hapo. Ilimkaramia that year. Fidel amesomea hiyo CDF akiwa Form 1 na mpaka wa sai ako Form 4 anafanya mtihani ya Form 4. So kama si CDF mtoto wangu angejoin Form 1.
Muthoni and Wanja account for the 1.2 million people living in extreme poverty in urban areas. In rural areas, another 7.8 million people live on less than 250 shillings a day. Kenya has over 8.9 million people living in extreme poverty. These are the bursary beneficiaries who, without NG-CDF's intervention, the cycle of poverty could never break.
The studies have shown that persons who grow up in environments, needy environments or environments of scarcity, have been known to do very well in society, comparatively speaking, when they are given opportunity. When you go around the world globally, you find that some of the most successful people that we have in society today were people who were supported, who were assisted to go through their education system. And because of the upbringing, I presume, these people tended to do exceptionally very well. And this is what informs the entrenching of bursary in our society, so that we target the needy of society as a proper program that gives opportunity or levels the ground for all learners so that they can be able to access education.
In rural Kenya, NG-CDF has developed different schemes for administering bursaries. In some constituencies, students who pass their exams and come from poor families get a chance to join the secondary schools they are admitted to on full scholarships.
CDF has been of a great help to the people of Kenya. The bursary component is even the biggest game changer, because you realize that the government itself, the government has got a policy that no child of school-going age should remain at home because of issues of costs. No, that's where national government CDF comes in to support that government policy. And many students, in fact, when there's delay in funding, you find the hue and cry comes from the parents themselves, because there are quite many parents in Kenya and many students in Kenya who rely on CDF to finance their education, both in day schools, in boarding schools, and we have students in various categories, those who are very poor, who cannot afford education, and therefore we need to give them 100% financing through full scholarship. We also have students whose parents are struggling, but they just need some little push to complete education. So through our bursary processes, which starts with the application and vetting, we are able to assess the students and the capacity that is required for us to support them. And therefore, we are able to ensure that these students remain in schools. And for example, in the last 5 years alone, we have managed to finance approximately 6 million students across the country through education bursary. And that has gone a long way in enhancing retention of these students in schools. It has gone a long way to ensure that there is 100% enrollment to schools, 100% transition from primary to second school as per the government program, and also to be able to access the third level of education.
Muhila Boys Secondary, Kakamega. The collapse of the sugar sector in this region has meant one thing. Students from low-income families cannot afford school fees unless they're getting a helping hand. The number of needy students has been rising, not only in secondary schools such as Muhila Boys, but also technical colleges and universities.
Mimi nashukuru sana watu wa CDF kunichukulia mtoto. Nilikuwa nahangaika, sikuwa na mahali pa kutoa pesa. Nilikuwa naendea watu mtoni ndio nipate chakula, ndio watoto wapate kusoma. Yule mtoto alifanya vizuri, nikatafuta scholarship.
In Huisero constituency, boys from local schools get admitted to Muhila High School on a full scholarship program.
So first I want to really appreciate the NG-CDF scholarship program that has been in this school for this is the 5th year. And of course, of very great importance is the first group that just left last year. This group came here in 2018. And we had a group of 127 students who are on full scholarship by the NG-CDF, and whose fees was paid actually for the 4 years they have been in school. And I must say that that was a turnaround for this school, because prior to that, the performance of the school was low. All of them were actually above 300 marks from local school, primary schools, and from very disadvantaged families, because they've run the full course up to last academic year when they did their KCSE exams. And for a record, this school for the first time took to university more than 100 students, because the previous year, that is in 2020, we had taken to university 49 students.
Parents are grateful for the program. Mamula Amunga's son is admitted at Muhila High School in Form 1.
Nichukue fursa hii kuchukua CDF kwa kunichukulia mtoto, kwa maana alipata alama nzuri na kapata extra account, aliitwa kwa shule extra account huko Tharaka Nithi County, lakini nikashindwa kumpeleka. Sasa mwishowe nikapata ambaye na agent ambaye alikuwa na shughulika na mambo ya scholarship kwa sub county ya Huisero. Nikamuelezea, akasema atanisaidia. Mwishowe alinichukua majina ya mtoto wangu na akapeleka afisi ya CDF yetu ya Huisero sub county, alafu alishughulika, alafu matokeo yenyewe ilikuwa chanya. So ninashukuru kwa maana mtoto wako hapo na ako kidato cha kwanza.
And Kabondo Kasipul constituency also has a bursary scheme for all students who pass Class 8 exams but cannot afford secondary school fees. Tabitha Atieno's son has been a beneficiary.
Toka sehemu za Ramba, Kabondo Kasipul, mtoto wangu mwenye alikuwa anafundishwa anaitwa Vincent Omondi. Kwa nasomea shule ya Butula Boys, na kwa saizi ako Kenya Methodist University first year. Kwa CDF nimefaidika juu mtoto alikuwa analipiwa fee yote, alikuwa analipiwa 59,000 per year from Form 1 to Form 4. So CDF imenisaidia sana juu mimi ni wa biashara, nauza mboga.
Tabitha Atieno, a mother of 3, is grateful that NG-CDF bursary came to her rescue.
Kama sio CDF singeweza juu singe afford hiyo fee ya Butula Boys juu ilikuwa shule ya National School. Mimi nilikuwa nia yangu ni kumpeleka kwa day school. Mtoto singeweza kumfundisha kama sio CDF.
NG-CDF Kabondo Kasipul has tracked their students' performance. 2017 financial year bursary students are now admitted to various universities in the country. They will be future engineers, doctors, economists, teachers, contributing to nation building. In the whole country, NG-CDF bursaries have changed education landscape.
We have almost 75% of the students get bursary from CDF, and that one keeps them in school. And that's why you can see the population here is higher. The school started 4 years ago, and you can see we have 774. That is population. Through the CDF, we can keep them here.
In the last 2 decades, NG-CDF bursary scheme has become better, lifting hundreds of thousands from poverty through education.
What we do believe is that once we have a development agenda, like we have bottom-up economic transformation agenda, it is from the definition, it's not a model, it's an agenda, isn't it? From the very definition is that it recognizes that more people have been left behind. So it means that you need some interventions to lift them from the bottom, okay? And the second thing is to understand that you need economic transformation, because essentially we have failed to get where we are just because some factors have been so powerful to compress the majority of the population. So essentially we want to look at areas where we can support. So that bottom-up economic transformation agenda becomes a very, very important framework of guiding us, okay? And that is what we really think the NCDF should be part of the game. It's part of the game because it's going to provide interventions where they are needed.
Studies link education as a key to ending the poverty cycle. NG-CDF is ensuring this education is received by students from all over Kenya through bursaries, and Muthoni understands what education can do.
Jana niambia nikimaliza nisome nimalizie, mama nakumbaia nyumba. So nitakuwekea supermarket. So naona niko na raha, naomba Mungu iwe hivyo hivyo. So naona sasa maisha imekuwa at least. So niko na imani.